Hello, welcome to this episode of the UCM podcast. I am Dr. Bill Davis. I'm excited to be with you once again. And today we're going to talk about something that is a big problem within upper cervical practice in many instances. And what we're going to talk about is a personality driven practice. What is a personality driven practice? And if you have one, what should you do about it? How can you fix it? And so this podcast is 5 signs that you have a personality driven practice and how to fix it. What we want to help you do today, Doc, is to break free from burnout, build a scalable, mission driven practice that can last beyond you and can help more people in your community. And so, first of all, let's get into what a personality driven practice really is. And so, if you're constantly feeling overworked, overwhelmed, or stuck, that might be an indication that you have a personality driven practice. If your practice feels like it falls apart when you're not there, you might be running a personality driven practice. So, in this episode, we're going to uncover the 5 signs and some simple ways to break free. And so, let's get into this. So, the first sign, the first thing I want to make sure that we understand is, what is a personality driven practice? It's a practice that's overly reliant on your presence as the doctor, your energy, and your decision making. Your growth, your consistency, your sustainability suffers in this type of practice. The practice will often reflect your personality more than a larger mission. Now, typically, this is a solo practice, right? If you are in a solo practice, you will be overly reliant on yourself. It's going, unless you're there to see patients, adjust patients, do consultations, do report of findings, your practice cannot exist. It can't actually happen, can't work. And so we want to help you to move beyond that, move beyond just your personality, your charisma, running your practice, to having a practice that can work even when you're not there, so that you can help more people in your community. And so let's talk about whether or not you have a personality driven practice. So there's 5 signs you can look at and say, okay, yes, this is definitely where I am, and how I can begin to move away from this. You can see from the signs the path forward. So the first sign is you can't take time off, right? If you have a personality driven practice, you can't take time off. Everything depends on you being there. Your absence will equal chaos or just shut down, right? If you have a personality driven practice, you can't take vacations. You can't, close the practice for any particular period of time without you being there. And so the fix really is to document, right? To begin to document any recurring tasks and begin to train others and delegate those tasks to others. And then really just to repeat that, right? And so it starts with anything that you're doing within the practice that someone who isn't a doctor can do, right? If you're doing any kind of administrative task, if you're doing any kind of like chiropractic assistant type tasks, then you want to begin to delegate those things first and train people on those and document it and get those dialed in and systematized so someone else can do those things. Because you want to be able to hire people who can do everything you need to delegate, but it takes one step at a time. For instance, if you're in a solo practice where you're the only one there and you don't have a CA, then starting with this documentation and training others and delegating starts with the CA. And then over time, it can be another CA and then eventually an associate. But you've got to start somewhere if you're in this personality-driven practice, so that you can start to move in the direction of having a practice that's based more around a mission. The second sign is that you are the bottleneck for every decision. And this is very common. If you're in a practice with just yourself, Even if you're in a practice with an associate, you can be in the situation where you are the bottleneck for every decision. Every little question gets funneled to you. Decisions are slow, growth stalls because people just that they're constantly looking to you to make every decision. And this is not how you want to practice to run. Your fix in this case is to create decision-making SOPs, essentially where people will act from the values of the practice rather than on your individual decision making, right? That's why it's so important that you have a mission and you have core values. Because if you have core values as a practice, then your CAs, your associates, everyone can make decisions based on what's best for the practice, what's best for the patient, what's best based on your culture, rather than just what would Dr. So-and-so do, right? It doesn't have to just be every single time they come to you with every decision, right? If you have these types of decision-making SOPs in place, if this happens, then do this, and they understand that they only need to escalate to you if necessary. If they're not clear on what to do based on your core values, based on your decision-making SOPs, then they can escalate to you, but not with every little decision. Sign 3 is that you have a personality-driven practice is that your growth is capped by your capacity. If you're doing too many roles, doc, when your energy drops, the practice slows, right? This is, again, doctors who are trying to do too many things. You maybe, you're running the practice, you're seeing all the patients, you're doing administrative things, you're fixing things within the practice. You're doing, you're interacting with the landlord. You're reaching out to the air conditioning guy when the air conditioning doesn't work, right? You're doing everything. And that is where you will see that the practice will slow because you're stretched too thin. And so your fix here is to build a team culture and mission-driven roles and really hire and train based on core values. And so when everyone within the practice has a role that they can star in, that they can be great in, and they can understand based on your core values, based on your mission, what they should do in their role and how they can support the mission of the practice, that's when things are really in a place where it's not just dependent on you anymore. And it's a beautiful thing when that happens. And so working with all of your team to understand their role, having clear expectations, KRAs, KPIs in place for every role, helping them to really get an understanding of those things so that they can thrive in their position and that all of you can work together as a team to really see great results. Sign number 4 that you have a personality-driven practice is that your brand is you and not your vision or your mission, right? This is when it's, again, frequently in a solo practice where patients come for you. They don't come for the transformation that the practice has. They don't come for the results. They don't come for the, really what they're looking to get. They're coming to see you. And this makes it hard to scale. It makes it hard to expand. It makes it hard to add doctors. And really what the fix here is you've got to shift that branding to outcomes and mission rather than to you. Emphasize the why over the who, right? They come there because they want to see their lives change. They want to see their health improve. They want to see things happen within their life that is holding them back. And it's not just about you. It's about what your practice provides for them. It's what your practice provides for the community. And when you make that shift, it is a powerful shift that can happen, but it also makes you be able to bring in more doctors and have patients come there to see any number of doctors rather than just you. So that's a really important one, is making that shift in branding. And the last one here, the last sign that you have a personality-driven practice is you feel guilty delegating, right? You may have these kind of thoughts like, well, it's just easier to do it myself, right? And really, you're holding back your team and burning yourself out. You've got to allow other people to do things. You got to allow other people to have that the joy of doing a great job and being great at their work, and not just relying on you to be the hero and fly in there and make everything happen. And so the fix here is you got to let go of some ego, and you've got to equip your team. True leadership is multiplying others. It's helping others to be great at their roles and coming alongside them and coaching them and helping them to get better and better at what they're doing. And so these are the 5 signs of a personality-driven practice. And the goal here is to move from personality-driven to principle-driven. When you create systems that reflect your values, not just your vibe, right? When your core values, your mission, your vision, it's all focused around the principles, focused around the purpose of the practice, and that the entire team is united in the direction that you're going as a practice, the impact you can make in your community is exponential compared to if it's just based on you. You want to build a practice that thrives without being 100% dependent on you, right? That's the whole point. In order to do that, you've got to empower your team. In order to serve more people, and you will live with more freedom in that case. And so this is the key, is starting it now. If you're in solo practice, starting to make some of these shifts, starting to make these things happen now. And really, an initial action step is to just choose one system this week, right? This week, choose one system and delegate it, right? Whether it's new patient phone calls, whether it's a missed appointment protocol, whether it's a patient education process, document it, train on it, and release it. Let somebody else do it. And then just repeat. Do this every week. Try to delegate one more thing, one more thing, one more thing. And when you do that, you will begin this shift from a personality-driven practice to a mission-driven practice. And what this will help you to do is prepare you to hire more doctors and help more people in your community, because it's not just based on you. And so the key thing here, Doc, is you don't have to carry your whole practice on your shoulders. When you set up a practice in the right way, it's a team who is working together to serve the patients in the community, and that is how it should be. There's a better, scalable, sustainable way to grow. And this is what we help doctors with all the time. If you would love to talk with us about your practice, if you'd like to learn more about moving from a personality-driven practice to a mission-driven practice, visit ucmgrow.com, and we can help you with this. We love helping doctors to grow their practices. We love to help them move in this direction towards a mission-driven practice that lasts. So go to ucmgrow.com, and you can click on Start Growing there and schedule an appointment so we can help you. Again, this is Dr. Bill Davis, and as we always say on the UCM podcast, go team upper cervical.